I found out my wife was having dinner with her boyfriend, so I reserved the table beside them and arrived with his wife. When they saw me, the entire restaurant went silent. Chapter 1. The Cancelled Dinner. It started with something small, a dinner plan cancelled at the last minute. Work dinner, Claire texted, client from out of town, I'll be home late, don't wait up. At first I believed her, why wouldn't I? Claire was a respected corporate attorney in San Diego, always working late, always glued to her phone. We'd been married for 9 years, built a beautiful home together, had 2 kids and shared everything. At least I thought we did. But something about this cancellation, it didn't sit right. The tone felt off, cold, like I was more of a roommate than a husband. Later that night, as I sat on the couch watching our daughter sleep on the baby monitor, I noticed her iPad lighting up on the counter. Out of habit I glanced at the screen. A message flashed, from Jason L., tables reserved babe, can't wait to finally have you to myself. My stomach dropped. I opened the thread, hundreds of messages, late night selfies, inside jokes, secret hotel meetups, and tonight, dinner at Café Mirabella, the same spot Claire and I celebrated our 5th anniversary, Jason Langford, that name. I recognized it. He wasn't a client, he was married, I'd met his wife once at a company retreat. My hands trembled, I stared at the last message again. Tables reserved, a slow, cold smile crept onto my face. You want dinner? Let's make it unforgettable. Chapter 2. The reservation for 2. Or 4. I didn't sleep that night. While Claire was out laughing over candlelight with Jason, I sat alone in my garage. Not broken, not crying, but calculating. I'd spent years sacrificing for our family, paid off her law school debt, stayed home when our youngest had colic for 4 months, missed promotions to be present for the kids while Claire traveled for work, and this is what I got. Not anymore. The next morning I called Café Mirabella, the very restaurant where the affair was blooming. Hi, yes, I said calmly, I'd like to reserve a table for 2, right next to the window. Do you still have availability for Friday at 7? We do, the hostess said cheerfully. Perfect. Please make a note. I'd like the table directly beside a Mr. Jason Langford's reservation. He should already be on the list. She paused. Yes, I see that reservation. Wonderful, I replied. Put me down under Michael Benson, and please, if possible, seat us at the same time. Of course, Mr. Benson. As soon as I hung up, I dialed another number, one I never thought I'd use. Hello. A woman answered, guarded but polite. Is this Mrs. Langford? Emma? Yes. This is going to sound insane, but I need 5 minutes of your time, and I promise it'll change everything. That evening I met Emma Langford in person. She was beautiful, elegant, and, like me, heartbroken. She'd suspected something was off but couldn't prove it. I handed her printed screenshots of the messages I'd found. She read in silence, no crying, no yelling, just a slow, steady tightening of her jaw. When she finally looked up, her eyes were steel. What do you want to do? She asked. I smiled. I want to have dinner. Chapter 3. Oh God, what are they doing here? Friday arrived. Café Mirabella was glowing. Soft jazz played, warm candlelight flickered, and polished waiters moved with elegance between the cozy tables. It was the kind of place you took someone you wanted to impress, not someone you were cheating with. Emma and I arrived precisely at 6:59 p.m. She wore a sleek navy dress, her hair pinned back like she meant business. I wore the gray blazer Claire had gifted me on our 10th anniversary, poetic in a twisted way. We were seated, as planned, at the table directly next to Jason and Claire's reserved table, close enough to hear every word, yet far enough that the reveal wouldn't come too soon. The host seated us. We opened our menus, pretending not to know what was about to unfold. And then, at 7:04 Claire walked in, hand in hand with Jason Langford. I will never forget the moment her eyes landed on me. She froze mid-step, as if someone had hit a pause button on her life. Jason, oblivious, kept walking, but when he noticed her expression and turned to follow her gaze, he stopped cold too. He stared at me, then at Emma, then back again. Emma smiled. Evening, Jason. Claire's mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. She looked like she might faint. Her fingers trembled around her clutch. Her voice, when it came, was barely a whisper. Michael, what is this? I closed my menu calmly. Dinner. Isn't this the place you said you loved so much? I figured I'd see what the hype was about, Emma added sweetly. And I just had to meet the woman who's been helping my husband relieve stress during late meetings. You look different in person, Claire. The entire restaurant was watching now. Dead. Silent. Forks, midair. Waiters, frozen. Jason stammered, we were just having a business dinner. I raised my eyebrow. Really? That's strange. I thought business dinners didn't usually include love notes in hotel drawers and matching hickeys. But maybe that's a new HR policy. Claire tried to sit down but stopped, unsure if she had the right anymore. And just then, the waiter came by. Would the couples be dining together? Or separately? I looked Jason dead in the eyes. Separate. And kindly put their tab on our bill. Consider it a farewell gift, Claire gasped. Jason looked like he wanted to vanish. But we weren't done yet. Chapter 4. The hidden camera and the final toast. Jason tried to regain composure, his hand tightly gripping the back of the chair like it could anchor him back into reality. Claire, on the other hand, looked ready to cry. Or run. Neither option would help her now. I leaned back calmly, watching them squirm. You two look tense. Problems at home? Emma added with a smirk. Or maybe problems caused at home. Jason hissed under his breath. What do you want, Michael? I nodded toward my jacket pocket. Just to return the favor. You took my marriage, so I figured I'd take back my dignity. And maybe a little more. Emma reached into her clutch and pulled out a sleek black pen. Except it wasn't a pen. It was a discreet voice recorder. She clicked it. Everything from your hotel room last Thursday. Recorded. Jason paled. Claire's jaw dropped. I continued. And your little text messages, Claire? The ones where you said, he's so dumb he'll never figure it out. Those are backed up. Dated. Timestamped. Archived. She whispered, you've been spying on me. I nodded. I've been documenting evidence. Big difference. You see, divorce court isn't kind to cheaters in Ohio. Especially when kids are involved. And infidelity is proven. Emma leaned forward. And as for you, Jason, your wife already filed. This was just the final nail. You'll be hearing from her attorney on Monday. He blurted, you said you'd talk to her first. Emma gave him a chilling smile. I lied. Just like you did to me. For 2 years, the waiter returned. Hesitant, but professional. Shall I bring the wine, sir? I looked at him and said, yes. The most expensive bottle you have, Jason scoffed. Trying to show off. I turned to him and smiled. No, Jason. I'm celebrating my freedom. The wine arrived. I poured a glass for Emma, then for myself. Then, I raised my glass toward Claire and Jason. 2 endings, I said. May they come swiftly. And with consequences. Claire looked like she was about to faint. Jason just stared at the tablecloth, his ego bleeding out in silence. The restaurant erupted in hushed murmurs. Some even clapped. Emma and I toasted. And for the first time in months, I actually smiled. Chapter 5. Public humiliation and private victory. The next morning, I woke up to over 50 messages on my phone. Not from Claire. Not from Jason. But from friends, coworkers, family members, and strangers. Apparently someone at the restaurant had recorded the entire scene on their phone. It had gone viral overnight on Reddit and TikTok under the title, Cheaters Get Served. Literally. Over 2 million views. Comments ranged from, this is legendary 100%. to, the calmness of this man deserves an Oscar. People tagged their friends. You need to see this level of revenge. Claire's picture, pale, shocked, wineglass trembling, was everywhere. So was Jason's dumbfounded expression. The fallout was immediate. Claire's job. Gone. She was a PR manager. The kind of job that requires a clean reputation. Her boss called her in, showed her the viral clip and said, you've become a liability. She packed her desk in silence the same day. Custody. Handled. Thanks to the audio recordings, texts, and the public meltdown, my lawyer had everything he needed. The judge granted full custody of our daughter to me. Claire cried in court. Jason didn't show up. The judge said, "This is one of the clearest cases of betrayal and emotional harm I've seen." I just nodded. No theatrics, no smugness. Just closure. Jason's fallout. Emma didn't just divorce Jason. She took everything. The condo, the investments. Even the Tesla they shared. But the real kicker. She used the same viral clip as evidence of public humiliation in her legal filings. Jason became a meme overnight. Cheater gets clapped by husband and wife tag team. His friends ghosted him. His company politely asked him to resign. No one wanted to be associated with that guy from TikTok. A quiet dinner. With meaning. A month later, Emma and I had dinner again. Not as allies. Not as co-conspirators. But as two people who had survived the same storm. "You know," she said over a quiet meal, "I never imagined it would end this way." I smiled. Neither did I. But sometimes the truth needs a stage. She clinked her glass with mine. To truth. I raised mine. And to the show. Epilogue. The best table in the house. 6 months had passed since the night the restaurant went silent. Claire had moved out of the city. Rumor was she tried to restart her life in Arizona, but the internet never forgets. Every time she applied for a job, someone would eventually recognize her from that video. Jason. He tried rebranding himself as a dating coach online. That failed within weeks. The memes followed him everywhere. Even to job interviews. He eventually deleted all his social media and vanished from public view. Emma thrived. She went back to school, finished her degree, and started a small consulting firm. We stayed close. Not romantically. Just respectfully. Two survivors of betrayal who refused to let it define them. And me. I didn't just move on. I leveled up. I got a promotion at work. Bought a house near the lake. Focused entirely on my daughter, who no longer had to witness her mother's late-night meetings. On the anniversary of that night, I returned to the same restaurant. The host smiled when she saw me. "You're the guy from the video, right?" I chuckled. "Guilty." She gestured with pride. "We saved you your favorite table." It was the same one I'd sat at, across from Jason and Claire, when I'd quietly shattered their lies with the most brutal truth. Presence. I sat down, alone this time. But peaceful. As I looked around at the laughter, the music, and the soft candlelight, I realized something. Sometimes, silence is louder than any outburst. And dignity. It's the most savage revenge of all. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Or should the storm have raged harder? Drop your verdict below. I read every single one. Hit like if you crave justice, and share this story with someone who needs its fire.